All right, happy Friday, a rare Friday. The last Friday we will be with you for a while with Texas high school football getting underway, but we're going to hang out with you tonight here in the Arctic Air Studios. I do not have any Domino's pizza, but the show brought to you in part by Domino's. You can go to Domino's.com, get the app, download that, and get you some great pizza this week. And you might want some. And also, we're brought to you by Pete's Tire Service in Ropesville, Texas. The big 6282 Music Festival coming up this weekend in Ropesville Saturday night. If you have any tire issues, and we don't want you to, but if you do and you're in the area, they have roadside assistance. You can give them a holler there. Pete's Tire Service all around West Texas and the South Plains. Great people here in Ropes. So if you're coming out for the show, coming to see the Maines brothers, among others, you'll go right by Pete's Tire Service in Ropes. All right, we'll let some folks get in tonight. You know what to do. The early arrivals, you let us know the audio is good, the video is good. How do you do that? It's pretty simple. Thumbs up. Say something in the talking box. Do whatever needs to take place tonight to let us know that indeed the audio and the video is good and that we're ready to rock and roll. If you're hanging out with us tonight on Twitter and on YouTube, or is it X? I don't even know what we're on anymore. That sounds bad when I say we're on X. Or on X Twitter? Is it Twitter X? Is it X Twitter? Is it X? I don't know. You tell us. Get on the text line, 806-772-0197. Use that text line wherever you are, just like the old radio show, 806-772-0197. All right, happy Friday, everybody. Final scrimmage last night, so we're good to go with you tonight. Then we're back in a high school mode most Fridays. So most Fridays we will not be with you in Raiderland. Find out the most Texan thing you've done this week. Maybe talk a little Big 12 with you if you want to. I don't know, food, beverage, free fire zone tonight, anything and everything. In the talk show world, they call it Friday Open Lines. Thank you, Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh is pretty much the originator, the creator of the term Friday Open Lines. And now if you do a radio show, you're almost required by law on Friday to say it's Open Line Friday. Where the phones close the rest of the week? Nope. But it's Open Line Friday. Thank you, Rush, for that. In 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com, the website. Everything we do, we got for you right there. You can check it out every morning. Question of the day today, the most Texan thing you've done this week. We also have our Raiderland hot links section, cool stuff from around the internet. We like it. We figure you'll like it. You can add to it in the comments section if you choose to. It's TheRaiderland.com. We are in the Arctic Air Studios, another record-setting temp day here in West Texas. Hopefully your area is Arctic. If not, you know what to do. Call the bear. Also brought to you by Domino's Pizza. Domino's.com. Get the app. They've got a great special going on this Friday night, so check it out at Domino's.com. And the aforementioned Pete Tire Service in Ropesville. If you're coming out for the show tomorrow, you'll drive right by Pete Tire Service. You need that in your phone in case you're stranded on the road out here in West Texas and on the South Plains. They'll come to you. There you go. All right, 806-772-0197. Anything, everything that you want to get into, we'll get into tonight. We'll hang out as long as the conversation is good tonight, whether it's Big 12, whether it's Texas Tech, conference realignment, NFL, I don't know what it may be. Also want to hear from you the most Texan thing that you've done. Alan weighing in early, the most Texan thing I've done this week was put a crossing guard in their place. You got to do it sometimes. You don't want the usurpation of power by some rogue crossing guard who's out of line, and nobody likes an out-of-line crossing guard. I'll be the first to tell you. Back in my day and age, the crossing guards were the sixth graders at the elementary school. Give them a giant metal pole with a big red stop flag hanging from it, a safety vest, and a yellow plastic helmet that you would normally find at a Major League Baseball stadium full of ice cream. Put that on the sixth grader, tell them to get out there, stop the flow of traffic. And we did, by God. We got run over on my watch at Murphy Elementary, Lubbock, Texas. Tell you that right now. Text on the text line, 806-772-0197. That's how you get in if you're on Twitter X or on YouTube Live. What's the best movie you have seen this summer? I don't go to the theater. My family can confirm this. The best movie I've seen would have been watching for the first time the miniseries 1883 each week there on Paramount. Finally watched that this year. Maybe fairly soon we can have a Lonesome Dove versus 1883 discussion. I think we're to that point. I think we're okay to have that comparison. Michael's watching. Another Michael is watching. Put some spicy mustard on a burger this week. Was not impressed. Depends on what kind of spicy mustard you used. I mean, there's all sorts of spicy mustards. There's bold mustard. There's brat mustard, beer and bratwurst mustard. There's brown mustard. Mustard, as we know, is made from mustard seed. Yeah, it depends on what kind of mustard you would use on the spicy mustard. Although I'll say this, spicy mustard is not necessarily made for everything. Alan says, I discovered the 16-ounce Yingling lager aluminum bottles with the twist cap here in DFW. Game changer. Like the Yingling. Tessa says she sat in 1 million degree heat to watch the scrimmage. Yes, you did. And you did very well. Very Texan thing. Michael has a question. Can you mix different styles of mustard? I don't see why not. I read Leviticus. I think I pretty much understand it. I don't think that there's anything that prohibits the commingling of different mustards. Alan saw the movie Oppenheimer in a theater last month. Explosive movie. Thank you very much. You guys can text in as well. Most Texan thing you've done. You want to do a little Tech football tonight on a rare Friday night. Don't get used to it because we're going to be busy on the road the next 2 Fridays. Home opener coming up on September 8th. So going to be busy most Fridays. You'll just have to live with it. I don't know. Maybe we'll go live at halftime a couple of games or something. Give you an update or something from the field. I haven't seen Oppenheimer. I was asking somebody today, is it a movie that I need to see in the theater, which I don't do because you people are in the theaters, or should I just wait till it's available to watch on other devices? And pretty much anybody I've asked this has been like, you probably don't have to see it in the theater. Like one person, I wanted to see it in IMAX because I thought, the explosion, and that's like hardly a part of the movie. I'll watch it. Although I have this weird feeling that when it's over, I'm going to feel like I've watched a compendium out of everything I've ever read or watched previously about Dr. Oppenheimer and the bomb in the Manhattan Project. So there you go. And if you disagree with me on the mixing of mustards, you can state your case, 806-772-0197 on the Raiderland text line. We will have the first Raiderland Texas Tech season prediction post coming up tonight on the website from one Alan Corbin, who is with us tonight. I will not tell you what his season prediction is. I'll release mine next week about this time, maybe midweek. I like to wait just a little while into the preseason camps, injuries, and I want to get a feel for maybe what some of the other teams are doing that are on the schedule for Texas Tech, obviously not operating in a vacuum. Most Texan thing, by the way, 50th anniversary, I believe 50th, of the recording, if not the release, the recording of Jerry Jeff Walker, Viva Terlingua. Rock on. Very cool on that. I think I saw that yesterday, that it was recorded maybe on the 18th, the recording on that. So, yeah. O is for the oil I put in my hair. T is for T-Bird. R is for redneck. Michael, I like the idea. What mustard would go well with another mustard or another person? Off the text line, 1923 is maybe better than 1923. Should I analyze this from maybe he meant 1923 is better than 1883, or 1883 is maybe better than 1923. 1923 is going to be next up on my viewing. That Sheridan guy is putting out good stuff. Lioness and Tulsa King are great. Yeah, I'm going to watch 1923. And then I might, he said might, give Yellowstone another try. But all I kept getting out of Yellowstone was Dallas. It was another version of the remake of Dallas. It was out about 10 years ago when they did that. And then as soon as they started doing the remake, Larry Hagman saw it, and he's like, I'm going to die. and he did. He just died. So that was the end of that. That Yellowstone in its first couple of seasons, whatever, just never really grabbed me. Now, I freely admit I'm more of a period piece kind of guy, and that's why I think that maybe coming soon we can have a discussion and debate the merits of 1883 Lonesome Dove. There are a ton of similarities, obviously. You have the advantage of making one 35 years later, 30, however many years later we're dealing with now, 35 years, 36 years later. A lot of advancement in movie making technology. I mean, I'm sitting there watching 1883 and I'm thinking about the scene on the cattle drive where lightning strikes the herd in Lonesome Dove, and I'm going, geesh, how much cooler would that be? Although it's really pretty cool. And then, of course, the supernatural electric Deets later on in the movie when the ghost of Deets appears to P.I. and leads him back to safety. Well, I think we can all agree the supernatural electric Deets, pretty awesome. Tessa says 1883 made me cry. Lonesome Dove didn't. You didn't cry when they hung Jake Spoon? Huh? Didn't cry when that fine Irish tenor got eat up by the water moccasins and died? How heartless are you? You didn't cry. Well, nobody really cried when Gus died because he chose to die. Wouldn't let him have that leg. He made his decision. Joseph, meanwhile, in 1883, comes to the same decision. He decides, you know what? I don't feel like dying. Cut off my leg. James is watching. Got in a little late. Don't know how long we're going to go, but we're glad you're here, James. Everybody tell James hi. Tell him you're glad he's here. If you're on Twitter Live, if you're on YouTube Live, you use the text line 806-772-0197. Anything and everything, movie, music, food, mustard, Texas Tech, Big 12, whatever you want to talk about tonight. We can hang out and visit for just a little bit. The best thing I can tell you about Tech football right now is that camp has been incredibly quiet, that there's been very little drama. You haven't heard anything about any major injuries. You haven't heard anything about this guy being mad, that guy being mad. Very, very quiet. And one thing that I'm coming to appreciate about Joey McGuire is his coach speak. Teacher tired is my excuse for being late. All I know, and my wife's trying to say it's been in the house for a while, but there was a little plastic bag and it had ibuprofen, Tylenol, a little bitty thing of Fireball, and a pocket knife. Well, we're 1 week into school. That's what we've got now. Pocket knife, painkillers, Fireball. Big 12 football tiebreakers. What's up with that, says the texter. Got to have some form of tiebreaker. Yeah, teacher tired. That's real. Teacher tired is real after week 1. Although at least you get to knock out, now that you're going back earlier than when we used to back in the dark ages when I was in school, you get to kind of knock out a few weeks and then you get that Labor Day when you really need it. I mean, we would go back literally like for a couple of days and all of a sudden it'd be Labor Day and you're like, what was the point? Why did we go to school for 2 or 3 days and then have Labor Day off? At least you guys now are going for a couple of weeks and then, hey, we could really use this made up fake labor holiday and take advantage of it. And miss the Jerry Lewis telethon while we're at it. Miss the Jerry Lewis telethon. If you guys ever walk around the block with a little milk, like you get at school, a little milk carton, the little one, maybe a little bigger than that, pint size, what half pint, whatever. And you'd walk around and go door to door because you weren't going to get killed, and you'd ask people for money and you'd get it. And then you'd take it to the TV station and they put your name on TV because you gave them like $18 or whatever. Yeah, that was cool. Chris is watching. We're watching you, Chris. You can give us the most Texan thing that you have done this week if you so choose in the time we have. Again, not going too long. Oh, man, I better check on this. I made a Twitter post earlier. See, there was the Texas Rangers baseball history tweeted out a picture of Jim Sundberg, who had a great day on this date a few years ago. And I retweeted out just one more reason Sonny was Don Williams' all-time favorite Ranger. He is not Don Williams' all-time favorite Texas Ranger. To which Don has replied 14 minutes ago, vetoed trade that would have brought a young Dodgers prospect named Earl Hershiser to the Rangers. I knew that, man, I can get Don to rise to bait just about any time. Anytime. There are just certain things that I know. Jim Sundberg is one of them that I know that I can utilize to get Don to rise up. He handled that one pretty well. He's had other vitriolic responses when I brought that up. He hates Jim Sundberg because he thinks Sundberg kept Earl Hershiser from coming to Texas, and he did, and that saved Earl Hershiser's career. It would have been doomed to failure in a Rangers uniform from 84 to 88. There would have been no glorious Kirk Gibson home run in 88. There would have been no great scoreless streak that Hershiser put together. There would have been none of that because he would have been a Rangers pitcher where pitchers went to die. That Don Williams should think, as a Earl Hershiser fan, Jim Sundberg from saving him from that fate. He should, but he doesn't see it that way. Oh, well, we do the best we can. Big 12 predictions next week. We'll have Alan Corbin's predictions on the site coming up tonight. You'll be shocked and amazed by his prediction for Red Raider football, unless you're not. In which case, you're probably not shocked and amazed. But you could be, but probably won't be. Another reason why we may turn this thing off early, a little early tonight on a Friday, my wife has got some chicken bacon. Not chicken bacon. That would be different. Bacon, chicken and bacon. Anyhow, there's some chicken baking in the oven, which I assume will have some rice added to it here shortly, and off we go. So, yeah. It's weird. This will be the last Friday. When's the open date? I've got an open date on September 29th, and then straight on through every Friday night till the end of the playoffs, whenever that may be. Can Get 10 win? James has teacher tired. Can Get 10 win? Yes, you can has cheeseburger. Can Get 10 win? Can Get 10 win? Okay, so that would be a name for a horse. Get 10. Can Get 10 win? Now, if Get 10 were a horse, that'd be a good name for a horse. Get 10. And I would say, yeah, 10 could win. Can Tech get 10 wins? Yes. Will Texas Tech get 10 wins is a completely different question. Two completely different questions. But could Texas Tech get 10 wins? Yes. They will play 12 games, so they would have an opportunity to get 10 wins before the season was over. They truly would. Most Texan thing you have done this week? Mustard talk earlier for those who missed it. Lonnie says the most Texan thing I did was eat tortillas with butter for lunch, as well as some Bluebell ice cream for dessert. I am going to assume, perhaps incorrectly, Lonnie, that those were corn tortillas, homemade corn tortillas, hot with the butter. God, it's good stuff. There's only one Longest Yard movie. Only one exists. It took place in the swamps down in Florida. It did not take place in Texas Penitentiary. There is one Longest Yard, and it is still the opening scene. Is still one of the great opening scenes there with Burt Reynolds. T-tops, man. Hey, good look. And that was one sheriff that he did not outrun. Yeah, for the most part, remakes, horrible ideas. For the most part. There are a few exceptions, but for the most part, remakes are horrible. But yeah. The remake, I got about 7 minutes or so. Yeah. Could tell I wasn't. And I love me some Adam Sandler, don't get me wrong. But I could tell real quick, no point in watching the rest of this one. Ain't no point. Gotta hit that. Whoops, hit the wrong button. That was almost really bad. You ever almost hit the wrong button? I almost hit the wrong button right there. Andy gets in, and he thinks he's got like 10 minutes to watch this, but probably not. We're probably wrapping up early on a Friday. Most Texan thing, taking my 8th grade son to 7 a.m. practice for football. Good job. I say if they're going to make them practice that early, then the coaches should pick them up themselves. Have the ones who can drive work out early. If they can't drive, coaches got to pick them up themselves if they want them there at 7 a.m. I'm as old school as it gets, truly. I'm not a big fan of morning workouts from the standpoint of I firmly believe this. I believe you should practice when you predominantly play. Now, I get it that high school kids can't practice at 7 o'clock every night, but I'm not a huge morning workout guy. I think you should probably be doing athletic activities typically when you're going to be doing athletic activities, and 7 a.m. typically ain't it. Featuring future Big 12 halftime performer Nelly, announced this week. Brett Yormark continues owning the universe. That Nelly will perform at the Big 12 championship game halftime show. The same week, we find out that Taylor Swift told the NFL, I'm good. At least allegedly. Wasn't that the story that she turned down the halftime show? Good for her. And maybe there are people out there. I get the Super Bowl thing, I get the Super Bowl thing, halftime deal, but like the Big 12 halftime show, maybe I'm missing something. Is that going to drive attendance at the game? I can't imagine. And again, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there are actually people who buy tickets to sporting events that wouldn't otherwise buy a ticket because of the halftime show. Maybe I'm missing that. And on TV, I don't get it. But I guess if you're going to have one, there you go. I used to go get him at 8 or 9 after practice. We're not sure who he is. We hope it's legal. Any truth or rumors the ACC will take in the remaining Pac-12 schools? Probably not. Last-ditch effort, up and down vote that they're demanding via the ACC. The reports this morning were that Stanford has taken the SMU approach and has said, we will come in, we will basically pay you. You don't even have to give us media rights. You don't have to give us anything for years. We just take us in. To which if I were the ACC schools, I would say, that tells me all I need to know. You're worthless. No, I think the stumbling blocks are still there. There's no reason for the ACC to take them in that makes sense logically, particularly with their grant of rights situation. There's just no reason to do it. The most logical thing is that you will see the AAC and the remaining Pac-12 schools form some sort of alliance, that the AAC will blow up some grant of rights. The Mountain West may even get involved. You may see 3 conferences kind of do this melding thing. But for the ACC, if they weren't going to take them last week, they're not going to take them this week. They're not going to take them this week. They're not going to take them anytime soon. They're just, the value's not there. Even if they don't have to pay them. If they don't have to pay them, they don't need them. And, okay, if you're Stanford, you're trying to make the case, just bring us in. Don't pay us. That'll offset the travel cost because we don't bring anything. We don't bump up your value. They don't bring anything of value. They don't drive up the TV contract. You need it about $3 million for it to work out just to be revenue neutral. They don't do that. You get the idea. The Pac-18 with the AAC and the Mountain West, more likely, much more likely, if anything happens there, that you would see those schools. And if I were those schools, I would have a very loose alliance. I would have a very nimble grant of rights. I would make it as short-term as possible because, again, this stuff ain't done. All this stuff is good for is for the next round of TV. And then we're going to 64, we're going to 72, we're going to 32. We're going to something. Because now finally all the major players are saying out loud what we've been saying for years to you people, that football is going to break away at the highest level. You're not going to have conferences like you've had in the past, and that'll be it. It would be funny if San Diego State was out of a Pac-18. It truly would be. All right, couple more minutes. Jump in, get your comments in, statements of fact, questions, point of order, food, music, movies, most Texan thing you've done, whatever you want. Point was our football practices at CHS ended after the sun went out. Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. Obviously after the time change, but even then, a lot of not late practices, but just that was it. You practice after school. Laura is watching. All right, there we go. Got in right at the tail end, but you got in, and that's all that matters sometimes here in the waning final moments. Yeah, I got home after dark all the time, football practice. Obscure, who was Tech defensive lineman from Mount Pleasant, my hometown, who knocked Max Nocky completely out of the game. Well, that is random. So it's going to be 94 or 93. I don't remember knocking him out of the game the year TCU beat Texas Tech to keep them out of the Cotton Bowl in 94. Was it in 93? Defensive lineman, Mount Pleasant. Oh, no. Who was it, Chris? Glad you're watching. I do not remember Tech knocking Nocky out. I remember TCU knocking Tech out of the Cotton Bowl, though. The bat rastards that they were that year. Tyrone Brooks. Nice. Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to pull that one out. Too far back in the memory banks. Hell, I can barely remember what happened in the games last year, let alone 93, 94. All right, so later tonight, the first of the predictions will roll out here on this website, theraiderland.com. Not mine, but Alan Corbin has his season breakdown. So you'll want to come back for that at theraiderland.com. If you did not weigh in on the question of the day and everything else, including checking out our Raiderland hot links, really cool reason to go to the website every morning, theraiderland.com. I'm putting together anywhere from 10 to 20 links that I find kind of interesting, news of the day type things, tweets, different stuff that you guys can check out. You can add to that if and you want to in the comments section. If it's a good link, we'll put it in the next day's run. So check that out. But tonight, here in about an hour, we will have not just this archive for you to share with your friends, but also the first predictions coming out from theraiderland.com. We have to end the broadcast for our Twitter and our Twitter and YouTube. There we go. 10-4, good buddy. In broadcast, yes. I thought